Shabbat Shalom. This is the second week in the Hebrew month of Tevet, and we are all here together on this very snowy evening. So I'm thrilled to see all of you because I was not expecting a large crowd because, I thought it was just going to be the people following the snowplow, but then here you all are. And somebody said to me, but Rabbi, where else is there to go on a night like this? So there you go. But whatever reason brought us to the synagogue this evening, let us take a moment to breathe in the joy and the peace and the love and the harmony of Shabbat as we join together and we clear our minds and we sit in this holy and spiritual presence. God is calling us to worship in all sorts of ways. And so we take a moment. We come now to Shabbat, a time of joy, of rest, and of peace, as we sing together, Ma Yafeh Hayom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. It is my pleasure to invite to the bima, to sanctify our Sabbath candles, Jolie Korvatko.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotov v'tzivanu lahadlik ner sher Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. We continue in our Sidurim in our prayer books on page 28 as we rise together for the singing of Baruch Hu. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Please be seated. It is my pleasure to invite to the bima at this time to lead us in Ma'ariv Aravim, Eli Korvatko.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam,
Asher
asher
bivaro
bivaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach sha'arim, uvivuna mishaneh itim, umahalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakohavim, b'mishmarotehem barakir kirtsono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei hoshech, v'hoshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom uvein laila. Umavdil bein yom uvein laila. Adonai sifa'ot shmo. El Chai v'kayam. Tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Everlasting love. You offered your people, Israel, for teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves you, your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
We continue in our Sidurim, in our prayer book, with Shema, which can be found on pages 34 and 35. Will the congregation please rise? Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated. We continue on page 36 with V'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam livanecha, vidibarta bam, bishivtecha bevetecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, uvshochbecha, uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, vihayu litotafot bein einecha. Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tiskeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Emet. When I was thinking about this Shabbat, I had originally thought about doing a healing Shabbat service, and then I realized that what the world needs now is love, sweet love, and a lot of forgiveness, both in the giving of forgiveness and also in the allowing ourselves to receive forgiveness, whether it's from others or in a perceived effort to receive it from God. And so I wanted to kind of get away from our normal traditional readings this evening to kind of focus a little bit more on the theme of forgiveness. And so I'm going to read a special reading that's not in the book, and so I'm going to ask you to indulge me as I read to you a prayer of forgiveness from Rabbi Zalman. Ribono shel olam, I hereby forgive whoever has hurt me and whoever has done me any wrong, whether it was deliberately or by accident, whether it was done by word or by deed. In this incarnation or in previous ones, may no one be punished on my account. May it be your will, O Lord my God, God of my parents, that I sin no more, that I do not revert to my old ways, that I do not anger you, God, anymore by my actions. May I not do that which is evil in your sight. Wipe away the sins that I have committed with your great compassion, but not through sickness or suffering. May these words of my mouth and the prayers that are in my heart be acceptable before you. Let us continue with the singing of Mi Chamocha, which can be found on page 40. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha ne'etar b'kodesh, no ra tehi lo tosefele, no ra tehi lo tosefele. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze Elianu ve'amru, ze Elianu ve'amru. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha ne'etar b'kodesh, lo ra tehi lo tosefele, no ra tehi lo tosefele. We continue in our prayer book with a reading that is akin to forgiveness, but also the love that we have for one another. We continue on the top of page 43. Let's read together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapurei sukat shalom, aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. God created the world in 6 days, and on the seventh day, God did a very holy thing. God rested and gave us Shabbat so that we too may rest our souls, we can rest our bodies, we can rest our minds, we can rest all of our machinery, the animals that live within our midst. It's a day of holiness suspended in time where we do something that separates us from the rest of the week so that we may regenerate and come back to our regular lives renewed. And so we continue together with the singing of Vishamru, which can be found on page 44. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berito lam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berito lam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam, oti leolam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berito lam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berito lam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berito lam. At this time, we come now to our congregational tefillah, which can be found in our Sidurim. On page 46, will the congregation please rise? Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem, L'Man Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei metim Atah Rav leHoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayei metim berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayim emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, melech memit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata l'hachayot metim. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hametim. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. We continue on the top of page 55. Let's read responsively. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat. I'm going to go ahead and read another prayer of forgiveness. This one was written as an original prayer for Yom Kippur, but I felt it was appropriate for us to bring a little bit of Yom Kippur into the rest of the year to remember that we don't have to wait until Yom Kippur to forgive ourselves for anything we might have done. Grant us the magic balm of compassion, all-encompassing atonement. And so I begin by forgiving myself for procrastination, perfectionism, for never believing in myself as much as God believes in me. I forgive myself for labeling, judging, assuming, or naming another human without knowing their situation. I forgive myself for judging my own actions, thoughts, and deeds more harshly than God or other humans could ever judge me, and carrying those stories with me day by day. I forgive myself for demanding the roles of others intentionally or unintentionally, passing judgment on someone, or assuming their capacities and capabilities and hurting feelings in the process. I forgive myself for self-loathing, self-doubt, and maligning the being that the divine has placed on this earth and the body that I have been granted to walk in alongside Spirit. I forgive myself for walking too hesitantly, too aggressively, or for thinking anything is wrong with the way I walk in the world. I forgive myself for staying quiet, sometimes for being too loud, other times for not knowing what to say when it was on the tip of my tongue and I was just too scared. I forgive myself for dumbing myself down, for acting way too smart, for getting competitive, and for backing off completely. I forgive myself for apologizing, for pretending I don't have a right to take up space, for carrying stories of guilt and revenge that have only held me back. I forgive myself for not always listening, for assuming that my stories are the same as everyone else's, and for shouting at others that don't listen. I forgive myself for believing that the only way through is to smash everything down, when perhaps with compassion we can heal and rebuild. I forgive myself. Please forgive me. We continue with Shalom Rav, which can be found in our Sidurim on page 60. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. B'tov be'einecha livarech et amcha bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Let's take a moment for silent meditation. Oh, say shalom. Imroma. Oh, say shalom. Imroma. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hallelujah. May the one who brings peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who brings peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who brings peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who brings peace bring peace down, bring peace down. We come now to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of the Torah. And when I was planning this service, I didn't take into consideration that I was going to be all alone doing the service and playing guitar. So I realized, well, it's hard to carry the Torah with a guitar all by myself. So I'm asking for help. And so I would love if my Torah carrier, David, come on up, would come to the bima at this time. And so we continue with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of the Torah, which can be found in our Sidurim on page 246. Will the congregation please rise? Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, ki mitzion teitzei Torah, udevar Adonai miYerushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael, b'kedushato, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Vadlu Adonai iti unromama shemo yachdav. Exalt Adonai with me. Let us extol God's name together. Lecha Adonai hagidula vehagivura vehatiferet vehanetzach vehahod ki ho bashamayim uvaretz ki ho bashamayim uvaretz lecha Adonai hamacha ve'amid na'aseh lechol erosh lecha Adonai hagivura vehagivura vehatiferet vehanetzach vehahod ki ho bashamayim uvaretz ki ho bashamayim uvaretz lecha Adonai hamlacha ve'amid na'aseh lechol erosh al shlosha devarim al shlosha devarim al shlosha devarim haolam omer al shlosha devarim al shlosha devarim al shlosha devarim haolam omer al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim al shlosha devarim al shlosha devarim al shlosha devarim haolam omer al shlosha devarim al shlosha devarim al shlosha devarim haolam omer al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'hishtachavu behar kodsho romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'hishtachavu behar kodsho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu thank you honey ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Please be seated. Yasher koach. Thank you so much. See, it takes a village, but we have a village, so it's good. It's good, how it should be. Well, we are at the final chapter of our first book in the Torah. Oh, you are going to be my guitar stand? You are so good. You do double duty. I'm telling you, John, what doesn't he do, Karen? I'm telling you, it's great. I need a human guitar stand. Guys, think about what we'd get on eBay for a human guitar stand. I'm thinking Temple fundraiser. We'll talk about it. We are in our final chapter of the book of Genesis. And when we get to the last book of our Torah, all 5 books, at the end of the reading, after our blessing, we say, or actually before the blessing, but whenever we say it is perfect, Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek. Let us be strong, and let us strengthen one another. Because reading and studying Torah, especially together as a community, strengthens us, not only our souls and our minds, but our spirits as well, because may the words of Torah always be sweet on our tongues. In this Torah portion, the final book of Genesis, Joseph promises his father Jacob that he will bury him in Canaan. And on his deathbed, Jacob blesses his grandchildren, Ephraim and Manasseh, and then blesses each of his children. Jacob dies and is something that is not a normal Jewish tradition, but we had to do it in this case because he had to be brought back to Canaan, to the cave of Machpelah. Jacob was embalmed. Joseph affirms to his brothers that he has forgiven them for their misdeeds. And at the end of the book of Genesis, Joseph dies. You can follow along with the reading of our Torah portion tonight, of Vayechi. It is found on page 308 of the large maroon books, the Etz Chaim commentaries, which are found on the seats in front of you, underneath the seat, or if you're in the front row, it can be found underneath your seat. Sometimes, not always, just depends. And if you are having trouble finding a Tanakh, if you need an Etz Chaim commentary, let me know. You can actually raise your hand and we'll have our human guitar holder bring you a Tanakh. Okay, just kidding. You can follow along on page 308. I will be reading from chapter 50, starting with verse 15. Ya'amod David ben Rachamim v'Yehudit la'aliyah haTorah. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayir'u achai Yosef, ki meit avihem vayomru lo, yishtachamenu Yosef v'hashev yeshiv lanu et kol hara'ah asher gamalenu oto vayitzavu el Yosef lemor avicha tziva lifnei moto lemor ko ha'omru leYosef ana sana pesha achecha v'hitavtem ki ra'a gemaluch ve'ata sana lefesha Avdei Elohei Avecha, Vayivech Yosef bidabram elav, Vayilchu gam Achav, Vayiplu lefanav, Vayomru hinenu lecha la'avadim, Vayomer alehem Yosef, El tira'u ki hatachat Elohim ani, ve'atem hishavtem elai, ra'a Elohim, Hashava latova lema'an asa kayom hazeh lechatam amra ve'ata al tira'u anochi achalkel etchem ve'et tapechem vayinachem oto vayidaber al libam.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch Ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And we say together, Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek. Let us be strong, and strengthen one another. Yasher koach. At this time in our worship service, our thoughts turn to those of our communities and families who are ill and in need of healing. We think this evening of Jeffrey Cooper, Alan Wolski, Jerry Reinhardt, Lila Rashowski, Len Schultzman, Frida Unangst, Jeffrey Liebold, John Eulenberg, Don Nichols, Maddie Nichols, Zora Schultzman, Anthony Dumas, Christine Dumas, Sarai Rosby, Bernard Rohde, Connie Diltz, Andrew Beater, Gertrude Bacall, and everyone who is affected by the fires in Los Angeles this past week, and all who suffer, whom we know not by name. Misha Berach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, V'Yaakov, Ve'imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, V'Leah, Hu Yivarech V'Rapeh et Kol Cholei Yisrael, Vayishlach Lahem Bimheira, Refuah Shlema, Refuah Tanefesh, Refuah Taguf, V'Nomar, Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all who are stricken. May the Holy One of Praise mercifully restore them to health and to vigor. May God grant them health of body, health of spirit, and of mind. And let us say, Amen. Now, normally, when we have someone else that's here, they would launch into the song Misha Berach, but we don't. So you're just going to have to wait 1 second. Mi sheberach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Ya'amod Yehoshua ben Gila, Hagba, Ya'amod Uri ben Nachum Galila. Will the congregation please rise? Vizot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai biyad Moshe. Please be seated. It is my pleasure to invite to the Bima at this time to lead us in the prayer for America. Janet Meyer and Gail Crespo will lead us in the prayer for Israel. The prayer for America can be found on the bottom of page 258, and the prayer for Israel on the bottom of page 259.
Do you want to go first? Okay. O guardian, our life of liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonder of creation and alert to care of the earth. May we never be lazy in our work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideas. May our leaders' wisdom be forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us, help us to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe of affliction and strife, and our country be safe in body and spirit. Amen.
אבינו שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו, ברך את מדינת ישראל, וישות צמיחת גאולתנו, הגן עליה בעברת חסדך, ופרוס עליה סוכת שלומך, ושלח אורך ועמיתך לרשועי שריה ויועציה, ותקנם בעצה טובה מלפניך, ונתת שלום בארץ ושמחת עולם ליושביה, ונאמר אמן.
Amen.
O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love, spread it over in the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there.
Amen.
Our service continues on page 256 as we rise to return the Torah to the Ark. I didn't get to shake your hand, but good on you. Yeah, there you go. That was his cue to sit down, and he just did it. I'm really impressed. On this Shabbat of forgiveness and reconciliation, I offer this message of love. There's a story of father and son, estranged for nearly a decade. For years, they carried the weight of misunderstandings, unspoken words, and the ache of love left unexpressed. The father longed for an opportunity to reconnect, while the son, burdened by pain and hesitation, wrestled with how to respond. And then one day, in an unexpected moment, their paths crossed, and what happened next would forever change their relationship. But before we go on with the story, I want to bring in the Torah portion, Vayechi, which is the conclusion of the book of Genesis. And in Vayechi, we saw that Jacob's family was at a crossroads. After years of conflict and separation, they're finally back together again, but their togetherness is tenuous because Jacob, nearing the end of his life, blessed his sons with words that are both honest and prophetic. He doesn't ignore their flaws, but he speaks to their strength and their potential, weaving together a tapestry of imperfection and hope. But it's Joseph's act of forgiveness that becomes the emotional climax of this week's Torah portion. After their father's death, Joseph's brothers fear that now that Jacob is gone, he will take revenge for their betrayal when they sold him into slavery so many years before. So they plead for his forgiveness, invoking their father's wishes. And Joseph's response is breathtaking in its grace. "Don't be afraid," Joseph says. "Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God uses that intention for good." Joseph weeps as he speaks these words, and we're reminded that forgiveness is not easy. It requires courage to see beyond pain and to let go of resentment and to choose love over anger. Joseph's ability to forgive his brothers not only heals the fractures in their family, but also sets the stage for the future of the Israelite nation. Now let's return to the father and son. The story is none other than the story of Aaron Rodgers, who is one of the most celebrated quarterbacks of our time. And he had been estranged from his father Ed for nearly a decade. Their relationship, once strong, had been strained by unhealed wounds and misunderstanding. See, Ed was a former college football player. He turned into a chiropractor, and he taught his son Aaron the game, and that would one day make him a star. But for years, their connection had been distant, almost non-existent. And last summer, Ed learned that his son Aaron would be playing in the American Century Championship golf tournament in Lake Tahoe. And armed with a gifted ticket and some hope, Ed attended the event, praying for a chance to see his son. And then it happened. As Aaron walked toward the bathroom, he spotted his father in the crowd. And in that moment, Aaron Rodgers faced a choice. He could avoid the encounter, or he could embrace it. His mind raced. He thought, I can walk past and pretend not to see him, or even pull out my phone and start checking Insta. But something deep stirred within him, a voice calling him to love. And Aaron later reflected, I thought, what is best in this moment? What kind of gift can I give to him? Because I do love him, and I don't have animosity toward him, even with all the stuff that we've been through. So he stopped, and Aaron said, "Hi, Pops." And Ed turned, and for the first time in years, they looked at each other, father and son, face to face. Overwhelmed, Ed froze, and Aaron stepped forward, and Ed came out of the crowd, and they embraced. "I love you," Aaron said. "I love you too," his father replied. For Aaron, that moment was not a resolution to everything, but it was the beginning of something new. And as he walked away, he told a friend, I think that was what needed to happen. For Ed, it was a moment that he had dreamed of for years. It was a bridge back to the son that he loved. Like Joseph's story, this encounter reminds us that reconciliation often begins with a single step. Forgiveness does not erase the past, but it allows us to write a new future. In Vayechi, Jacob insists on being buried in the land of Canaan, in the land of promise. And this act is not just logistical, it's an expression of faith, that Jacob's burial connects the struggles of the past to the hope of the future, a reminder that even in death, there is continuity. Joseph, too, looks ahead, and he reassures his brothers, God will surely come to your aid and take you up out of this land to the land that God promised. Joseph's words link the story of Genesis to the future Exodus, bridging generations with the enduring promise of redemption. For us, the takeaway is clear. Forgiveness is not just for today, it's an investment in tomorrow. It creates a foundation of love and trust on which future generations can build. So, on this Shabbat, let us ask ourselves, who in our lives do we need to forgive? What open wounds can we heal? And how can we bless our families, not just as perfect beings, but as loved ones? Reconciliation is not easy. It takes courage to face the past and faith to step into the future. But as the stories of Joseph and Aaron Rodgers show us, it is possible. May we find the strength to take that first step, to say the words, I love you, and to begin building the bridges that will carry us forward. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Karen Butterfield with some announcements on behalf of the board. Thank you to our ushers, Deborah and her husband, Stephen. Is it Stephen? Thank you for stepping in and helping out. And our security team, Mazel Tov, Eliana Koratko, and your family on becoming a bat mitzvah. Join us tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. to celebrate Eliana being called to the Torah. Make a difference with us on Sunday, January 19th at Mitzvah Day. Grab a warm bowl of soup for charity at the Gary Gardner Memorial Empty Bowls. Listen to speakers, donate blood, bring supplies for local shelters, or work on a fun service project. There is something for everyone. Less than 2 weeks are left to register for the congregational retreat. Be sure to visit mycec.org/retreat to save your spot by Wednesday, January 22nd. For more information on upcoming events, check out our weekly happenings email, and please join us after services for a wonderful oneg sponsored by Alan and Helene Frankfeder in honor of their 58th anniversary. Very impressive. Mazel Tov. Shabbat Shalom.
As we prepare to begin our concluding prayers, it is my pleasure to invite to the bima at this time Ilan Korvatko, Oliver Cresswell, and Amelia Cresswell. We continue with Aleinu on page 282. Will the congregation please rise? Sideways. Good job. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, Va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim, umodim, lifnei melech, malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihyeh Adonai echad ushemo echad. Please be seated. At this time in our worship service, our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth and whose yortzeit we commemorate this Shabbat. We think with tremendous love and remember Harris Smulin, grandfather of Deborah Shudroff, Clara Redman, grandmother of Sharon Clark, Hirsch Redman, grandfather of Sharon Clark, Rose Sarvis, grandmother of Linda Mayer, Miriam Zanis, mother of Scott Zanis, Benjamin Reinhardt, grandfather of Julie Mandrew, Louis Blatcher, grandfather of Brett Blatcher, Jacob Wigder, father of Marv Wigder, Cookie Levine, mother of Robin Stoller, Jacob Gershman, grandfather of Michelle Slogoff, Vera Kahn, mother of Michael Kahn, Max Shapiro, uncle of Michelle Miller, Esther Pollier, mother of Gary Pollier, grandmother of David Pollier, Nettie Holtzman, mother of Linda Sarku, Benjamin Dorsey, father of Gary Dorsey, Betty Stein, grandmother of Gabriel Ein, Saul Kaplan, grandfather of Gwen McCallion, Mayor Channon, father-in-law of Robin Channon, Jim Johnson, uncle of Barbara Tischler, Sheldon Rosen, father of Jeffrey Rosen, John Hawk, father of Deborah Prins, Adrian Warshawski, sister-in-law of Lila Warshawski, Donald Aronson, friend of Jeffrey Engel, Marie Caulfield, mother of Ann Merman, Roy Wolin, brother of Gerald Wolin, Judy Appel, sister of Jeffrey Appel, Yolanda Gidali, grandmother of Karen Settler, Rabbi Michael Remsen, father of Aviva Zupancic, grandfather of Lorelei and Margot Zupancic, Randy Taylor, friend of Kathleen Shapiro, Myra Kay, aunt of Ellen Simpson, Martin Kolber, father of Heather Levine, grandfather of Anna and Isaac Levine. We also remember William Kroll, Berta Ehrenstein, Michael Ehrenstein, and Linda Grossinger. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as together we recite Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, which can be found in our prayer book on page 294. Will the congregation please rise? Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agalal uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach leolam olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shemei dekudasha barichu, le'ela minkol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. V'imru amen. V'imru amen. V'imru amen. V'imru amen. Please be seated. Our closing song this evening can be found on page 330. We'll sing together, Ki Eshmeira Shabbat. Ki Eshmeira Shabbat El Yishmereini. Ki Eshmeira Shabbat El Yishmereini. Oti leolamead Beino veni, oti leolamead, beino veni. May we find it within our hearts to be loving and forgiving so we can build a foundation of the future and bridges from our past into the future with love and grace. As we say together, Amen, Shabbat Shalom. It is my pleasure at this time to invite to the Bima the Korvatko family, along with the Cresswell families, and anyone related to them that wants to come up and awkwardly stand here while we do Kiddush and Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron lemase v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu vacharta, viotanu kidashta, mikol hamim, vishabat kodshecha, bi'ahava uratzon, hinchaltanu, baruch atah Adonai, mikadesh, HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'tei avon. B'tei avon, everyone. Come have some challah. We'll go into the social hall for a nice cookie. Shabbat shalom. Come take some challah.